In this video, we will create a GUI application where we can select and delete a table in the SQLite database, using the Python Customtkinter library. I would like to briefly introduce the application. There are 2 entries, 2 buttons, and a label object in the window. When the table name and ID are entered and the select button is pressed, the data is displayed in the label object. When we want to delete any data, we press the delete button. When we press the select button to see the data is no longer visible. We will redo the application together with you. To support us, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the video. So let's start. We will create a database and table using the GUI application we created in previous lessons. We can use these codes. If you haven't watched the previous lessons, I recommend you do so. I enter the table name, column names, and types. When you press the button, a database and table are created. Let's insert some data into the table. We can use these codes to insert. I will send 10 data to the table. We can use these codes to see the data in the table. The data in the table appears on the console screen. Now let's start making the GUI application that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. I am creating a code file. I import Customtkinter and SQLite libraries. If the Customtkinter library is not in the project yet, you can transfer it with this code. First, I create a variable for the window. I set the window title. I adjust the window sizes. I can use the main loop function to prevent the window from closing suddenly. We created an empty window. I will create an entry object for table name. I send the window variable, text and width values to the entry function. I add the object to the window using the place function. The first entry object has been added to the window. Now I will create an entry object for the ID. I'm copying and pasting. I am making the necessary arrangements. I added the entry object for the ID to the window. Now I will create a button object for select. I send window variable, text and task function to the button function. I add the object to the window using the place function. I can define the task function with pass for now. Now I will create a button object for update. I am making the necessary arrangements. I added the button to the window. I will create a label object for the result. I send the window variable and text values to the label function. I add the object to the window using the place function. I added all the objects to the window. Now let's edit the task function defined for select. First, I create a variable called number. I will use the number variable to determine whether the search data exists. You will soon understand better why I used this variable. I connect to the database with the connect function. I will send the select query to the execute function. I can get the values entered into the entry object by using the get function. The row variable is actually a list. I can access list members using a for loop. If the for loop works, there is data in the cursor list. So I set the number variable to 1. Soon, if there is no data in the cursor list, I will print the message data not found. I can use the configure function to display the data in the label object. If the number variable is 0, I will change the text property of the label object to data not found. We can test the select button. I enter the table name and ID values. When I press the button, it shows the data in the result label object. If there is no data, a message stating no data found is displayed. Now let's edit the function I created for the delete button. I connect to the database with the connect function. I will send an SQL for delete to the execute function. I can access the values entered by the user with get. I use the commit function to make the changes made in the database permanent. I edit the label object using the configure function. I enter the table name and ID value. When I press the select button, I can see the data in the result label object. When you press the delete button, a message that the data has been deleted is displayed. I won't be able to access that data anymore. I can give it a few tries. Everything works as I want. To support us, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the video. Thanks for watching.